Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2+1 with the former world champion in the red with the StarCraft 1 Zerg, the Executioner. It's Rogue, up against his StarCraft 2 counterpart, the Terran player Han Mono. A best of 3 Terran versus Zerg. And we're back to StarCraft Evolution Complete, SC Evo for short, the mod that combines the top 2 RTS games in a beautiful amalgamation of balance complaints, nostalgia, and most importantly, good games for the fans. And if you enjoy any or all of those things, it'd be awesome if you could like and maybe even subscribe. And Jimmy, what are we? 1,372 likes on this video, on this cast. I'll cast another one. I'll probably do it anyways, but thank you for watching. Hopefully you've had a good day so far. And hopefully it's about to get just a little bit better. And before this Overlord drifts in to Han Mono's base here on Polypoid, a map that many of you, especially more vintage players, may recognize. Shout out to Kiwian. Kiwian hosting this tournament of 32 top players, both from Brood War and SC2, with players like Rogue and Dark and Hero from SC2, and then you have Snow and Larva, and I believe Stork. There's several. There's a laundry list of them. So if you want to see all the games, make sure to check out his channel. It is in Korean, which may be a plus, depending on how you feel about my commentary. But make sure to check that out. And if you haven't yet complained about Reapers, especially when there are no queens, no. If you haven't yet joined the Discord for SC Evo, if you want to find some games, because, well, if you're outside of Korea, a lot of people like to watch, but finding actual games to play is pretty difficult. So you can find those links in the description, of course. Or maybe Jimmy will even leave a comment. But thank you again. And let's go over the ground rules. 1, Reapers are the worst. 2, they shouldn't die to Zerglings. 3, Game 1, I don't know if it's seeding or random choice, random chance, but one player chooses StarCraft 1, other gets StarCraft 2. Game 2, we flip it. So next game should be Rogue with the StarCraft 2, probably Zerg. I don't know if they could switch race. Would it be better? I don't. And then Han Mono with StarCraft 1. And then if we go to Game 3, it's dealer's choice, blind pick, which I think is the most interesting part, is when push comes to shove, comes to balance complaints. Do you pick StarCraft 1 or 2? Because there's big differences. Well, 1, this isn't exactly copy-pasted from Brood War. SC Evo tries to maintain the look and feel of the Brood War units without, well, if you just kind of copy-pasted them, they'd probably be much weaker or way OP. So a lot of the stats are changed, but the general rules of spellcasters being ridiculously strong, but the economy is somewhat balanced out by workers mining faster, but generally StarCraft 2 races have an easier time in the early and mid game, and then the StarCraft 1. This is from my experience, both watching and playing. But then the StarCraft 1 races in the late game with those ridiculous spellcasters start to find a lot of success as well. So it'll be very interesting to see with money on the line. That's the real test. Like, you could have fun games with your friends or like for show matches, but with real money on the line, what ends up being the strategy? What sort of unit compositions rise to the top, and which ones are buried like a sunken in the front of your base? I look forward to more of it. It's going to be a classical Muta rush. The Mutas, they have more range, one more range, which really feels a lot different than their StarCraft 2 counterparts. Hellions, also not supposed to be caught by Zerglings, but here we are. But they don't heal very quickly. Units in StarCraft 1 and here in SC Evo heal very slowly, just like 1 HP every 3 seconds. So while those mutas are a lot easier to make useful early, if they start taking damage, well, that means they're not dead on the bright. Well, if they take too much, they're dead, but they don't have the benefit of that fast regeneration. So we'll see how Rogue is able, how Rogue decides to use them in the first place. Double NG Bay. Han Mono, I think, trying to wall off to his third base. So important to note, I believe these are more Brood War minerals. Yeah. Bases have slightly more minerals, like 20-30% than their StarCraft 2 counterparts, which means you're less obligated to expand early, which is kind of generally favorable for the Brood War races, which have a tougher time of doing so, because you don't have things like mules to just drop on a new base and immediately take advantage of it, right? So we'll see if that ends up working out for either side. But the mutas are coming in, the Zerglings underneath, the Marines, they don't even have combat shield nor any upgrades. Overestimating their strength by far against these early Mutalisks. Widowmine slams into the Zerglings, but the mutas just rampaging through, gutting half a dozen SCVs, a whole bunch of Marines. He ends up killing 15 Marines so far, and Rogue now building some drones behind. It's not getting any easier to deal with this. He's definitely overestimated the strength of the Marines against the mutas. Wow. The mutas just cleaning house, and in fact forcing the house to lift and head anywhere else. Rogue getting so much mileage. I think Hanmana will be regretting this engineering bay location. As so far, the mutas have used it as a focal point. It hasn't really done anything. The Scourge headed a Scourge in to try to take out the medevacs, but wasn't paying attention. Eats a Widowmine hit across the bow, and a lot of those mutas badly bruised. Okay, moderately bruised. Autumn colors. Scourge zoning out the medevacs. And again, 10 SCVs dead. He's just feeding him into the mutas as he tries to repair the engineering bay. Like, at some point, the sunk cost here, and the sunken cost. Yeah, infantry armor's denied. +1 infantry weapons will complete, but overall, not an ideal scenario at all for the Terran. Obviously, you don't want your basic infantry upgrades denied when the only units you're building are Widowmines and basic infantry. And the Scourge add an extra dimension of danger, a zone of danger, if you would, to the medevac's existence, as mutas can take down medevacs quickly, but the Scourge, they don't have AoE damage, they have heavy single target, so they are quite a hard counter to especially stronger air units like battle cruisers. Wouldn't that be nice? But the Scourge existing keeps the medevacs from having kind of free reign. Well, the mutas also do their part in that. But even if he didn't go mutas, he could use Scourge to zone out drops a lot more effectively than really any option in StarCraft 2. Well, the Hive is done, or the Hive is on the way. That means the Queen's Nest. Don't be fooled by the Infestation Pit model that hasn't been replaced yet, but the Queen's Nest is completed. The Widowmines take another bite out of the mutas, as like half the HP of the entire muta ball is gone. The muta's still keeping Hanmano beaten back on the 2 bases, but unlike in SC2, when you'd already be mining out of some of your mineral patches, right around 8 or so minutes is when those first 4 start mining out, especially if you use mules. He still has a couple more minutes of minerals, so he's still at a similar, in fact, had to check the stonks there. Mules did oh my god. Well, yeah, the mules making things difficult. Unfortunate, though, he didn't notice the mines in time. Eats a couple muta hits, and the rest are now gonna have to fly back home. The thing is, eventually they'll heal. Or they won't need to, depending on the situation, but those mutas are no longer really in fighting shape. And Hanmano is back in the supply lead. He has the Marines. 1-1 is done. Ultralisk Cavern is on the way, but Ultra's not nearly as scary as they are in StarCraft 2. They are only single target damage. They're just big slabs of meat to put in the way, and not particularly hard to target them down. We'll see if Hanmano really... They're still scary to look at. Like, your reflex from StarCraft 2 is to run away from Ultras with just Marines, but they're not really that hard to deal with. They really are just to tank for the rest of your army. But right now, Rogue doesn't have much less of an army. Much more of an army. Whatever one means, he doesn't have enough army to deal with this. He built a wall of sunkens at the natural. But no matter how much trench warfare he decides to insist upon. Without lurkers, the Marines should still be able to chew through it, assuming there's not enough army there to defend. No Defiler Den. Nest? Defiler Abode? Hovel? No Defiler thingy quite yet in production or on the field. Last I checked, it looked kind of like, they were just using the Roach Warren model, but the Defiler itself, of course, is in the game. But the Defiler, probably the best Zerg unit bar none. Between Dark Swarm invalidating ranged attack damage, of which Terran only has, besides like spellcasting, but Plague, bringing units to 1 HP, and Consume, allowing them to get those spells off almost immediately. They're very good. But right now, the Fusion Core, by the way, is used for Caduceus Reactor Rush. What a play. Widow Mines dragged out by Zerglings that do have their upgrades. And again, the Mute is working on it. I don't think the orbital was even fully repaired, but here comes Hanmano tearing through the drones and looking at the Sunkens. There's nothing else underneath. It's just a ball of Marines, and they're gunning down the Sunkens one by one. The Ultralisk is pin-cushioned by Widow Mines, and the rest of the army, well, it'll just eat the rest of the mine hits. The Mutas try not to get too far in front, gonna target down some of the medevacs coming around the corner, but Hanmano doing some great stutter step. There's actually no splash damage at all with this army. So the Marines still finding a lot of success, but the Mutas are chewing through many of the medevacs in the process. Down to 4. Widow Mines recharging. They do have drilling claws done. Overlords are all you need for detection, but there are no overlords to be seen. Meanwhile, Rogue expanding to the corners, really embracing his classical Zerg roots here. Overlord will allow the Zerglings to chew through the Widow Mines, but still a few more zoning out on offense. Ultras take the hits, and the Marines standing their ground. Hanmano, I think, understanding. If those were SC2 Ultras, they'd be cloven in twain. But the StarCraft 1 version, jostling just to get in position to kill individual Marines. The Widow Mines, hidden under the orbital dish, and those filthy Terran tricks continue to pay off. Rogue, unable to lay down the killing blow, despite having such a dangerous-looking army. But you gotta adjust your expectations. None of these units are particularly strong at killing large groups of Marines and Marauders. He doesn't have any lurkers. He doesn't have defilers. He keeps wandering into a minefield. Where's your overlords? He's essentially playing this like he's recently been playing SC2. And Hanmano, well, staying true to it. The Marines, oh my god, that Ultra was freaking out. As it died, of course, which, you know, fair, but the Ultras at the natural just threw the meat grinder. Chewed to pieces by the high-velocity Terran, and as well, simultaneously, a drop to the top right corner. Hanmano going for the bingo strats. And so far, finding a lot of success. Rogue's economy, he actually has 70 drones. I don't know how they're distributed at the moment. Can't really see under there. Thank you. Oh my god. Everyone dies at the end. The field runs red with the blood of Zerg. And some Terrans. But I think definitely more Zerg. Rogue has lost 5,500 gas to 969. Nicely done by our Terran player here to minimize the losses of SP and gas. Which has been very important because he hasn't been able to get his third. Rogue just keeps sending it. And he has no more tech to follow it up. Does he have Overlord speed done? Finally, yes. Overlord speed, which means detection is a lot easier to come by. Bringing those Overlords with it. That's all it takes. And a Defiler Mound. Oh, I tried so many things. I didn't come up with Mound. All right. I was pretty set on Defiler Nest. I don't know why. I think it was conflating with the Queen's Nest. Anyways, the Defiler Hovel is on the way, looking suspiciously like a Roach Warren, but don't let that fool you. Still needs... I guess they come out of the box with Dark Swarm. Assuming you're able to finish it at all. And the Ultras Oh, you're not going home. The Marines stutter-stepped, going for a few drones. The Ultras will chew them up and spit them out. Defiler's done. What's happening down here? There's a supply depot. All right. The Bio Army still going to work. Scourge eating the Widow Mine hits on top of the army. There are just so many mines. He didn't do his due diligence here. More Scourge coming in, clearing out the medevacs though. The sheer weight of the Zerg. And I believe Defiler energy upgrade is on the way. As the Ultras are gunned down. Rogue down 20 supply. He builds some more Ultras. And a Liberator is making its way across the map. I think the Scourge spotted it and didn't realize what they were looking at. 3 Defilers in production. And this is the turning point. He needs to defend another Bio Ball. But if he's able to bring the Defilers online, the Dark Swarm, which I don't think will affect the Widow Mines, but everything else, it will make your units quite literally invulnerable. I'm not sure if melee range attacks work like they do in Blinding Cloud. I'm pretty sure it just reduces all range damage, including your own units' range damage, of which he has none, so... Plague on the way. And there's that dangerous lobster scorpion. Needs to slurp up some Zerglings, ideally, in order to gain that energy, but here we are. And knocks out another medevac on mono. Does he have ghosts? No Ghost Academy. Alright, you should know if he's played any StarCraft 1. The Academy is so important. But he's just uneducated. The Zerglings. This Bio Ball is still too dangerous, but... Dark Swarm! Wow. Wow. Okay, that's a look. It's actually very dark. But he's kind of ignoring it. The SCVs, I guess. So how many shots does it take to get to the center of a Dark Swarm? And the answer is... Well, I'll let you know. Alright, so the real benefit of Dark Swarm is unlike Blinding Cloud, your units will still and then the Widow Mine. Well. So did the Dark Swarm just end at exactly the time it died to the mine? I'm pretty sure that's what just happened. Which was quite a coincidence. It makes it look like the Defiler was channeling it, but that is not how it works. Research for Plague is about to complete. 4 Defilers on the field. But Plague, you can still heal Plagued units, I'm reasonably sure. On mono with the Bio Ball, though. Rogue not really respecting the power of Terran here. He's really just been trying to play this like SC2, I think. And found good success. But he needs those Defiler spells. And he needs them as the fight happens. Not to hope they run out of ammo firing at a Defiler and Dark Swarm. My god, that Ultra Speed is so ridiculously fast. Scourge wipe out a few of the medevacs. But the Zerglings are getting in the way. And... Yeah, Plague Uga! He throws the Plague out. And the medevacs themselves. It will bring the units to 1 HP. It will not kill them. But it might make them wish they were dead. Unfortunately, there's nothing to finish off that last HP. And any units in the medevacs, unfortunately, not hit either. With Rogue, losing hatcheries. He's got a couple of Ultras speeding by, but he's going through the minefield here. The Ultras, nope. The Widow Mine's really paying dividends. Knocks out another one. And, well... Han Mono maintains a solid army supply. Just so much army supply. But... there's still Defilers. He just one Defiler. The Widow Mines have been the real MVPs. Rogue not bringing the, he hasn't been bringing the Overlords along in order to provide that detection. It's really been costing him. Oh my. The Ultra's chewing through, but Zerglings at the back. just ripping up. Everything's so fast and so furious. More Whittle Mines. Dark Swarm. And he just stays in the hold position. Everybody chill. Eating up some of the Zerglings. Unfortunately, it's not a very easy thing to navigate. The Bio Army with no medevacs left. The Scourge wiped it out. And here come the Zerg on the ground. But the Zerglings are the real threat as they just rip up the Marines and the Marauders and leave nothing left. Defilers should be able to consume Terran units. Moving on mono. And the Scourge! Get back here! Oh, weird camera thing, but yeah, it takes 2 Scourge to kill the Liberator. Even though Rogue has lost more minerals and 3 times as much gas, 35 Ultras. Oh my god, that Whittle Mine, 45 kills! The Defilers! Oh my, the Whittle Mines racking up so much. Liberator tried to protect the base. Dark Swarm! And that also stopped the Liberator's. Rogue's ridiculous macro overwhelms the cost effectiveness of the StarCraft 2 Terran. And game 1 will go to Rogue and the Brood War Zerg. And now we're gonna flip the script with Rogue as StarCraft 2 Zerg. Okay, I'm thinking out loud. Okay, let's just get into the game before I describe it so I don't screw it up. Yes, Rogue as our StarCraft 2 Zerg, and Han Mono as our StarCraft 1 Terran. I'm kind of rooting for Han Mono here because I want to see what Rogue picks if forced to a game 3. But, we will see. The Brood War Terran on the field. Yeah, Rogue. He barely... The Dark Swarm was icing on the cake, but the Defilers were... I guess they helped a bit. In that one moment where Han Mono's entire army was doing a firing squad on the Defiler. That's a cinematic moment right there. I think that's a lot of the value of the Dark Swarm, is just making it so units are completely and utterly distracted. So that way they can't participate in the rest of the group activities. It's going to be a 2 Rax opener. Of course, Terrans, until well after the Brood War, did not invent lifting and lowering the depot technology, so that means that more creative tactics have to be used. But he's not even he's at command center first into a 2 Rax. He's not even bothering with walling off. Just keeping everything open. So we'll see what kind of timing he's looking at. There's barracks number 3. Should be seeing the Academy momentarily, which instead of tech labs and reactors, gives you access to STEM and Marine range, as well as medics and fire bats in that early game. 4 Racks. Will it get stuck in the middle, or do they just know better? Is that a double Academy? My brain. What? What? He's gonna go. I said STEM or Marine range. How about STEM and Marine range? Which, Marine range brings the Marines to the same range they are in SC2, for reference. So, it's not like they get extra. It's kind of balancing it out. Are you... Huh. I've never... Is this just straight up Marines? Because he's not going to have the gas to also go for medics. So, gets the U-238 shells or whatever they are. And just... Oh, Beyond would be proud. So now we get to see whether Rogue is ready for the best Marines Brood War Terran has to offer. Right. He's I think he's trying not to show how many he has. Just wandering around, keeping a couple back there, taking out the anti-cannon rush rocks. A regular roach horn, SC2 roach horn is on the way. I love the little spark effect on these depots. The detail here, these are custom models, many of the things. Oh my god, he's pulling the boys! Rogue has roaches on the way. He sees this coming. He knows it's on the way. 5 roaches in production. Rogue's up to 41 drones, which means he's been droning for quite a while. He has 5 queens and 4 zerglings. And if he loses any overlords, he's supply blocked. Oh no. Oh no. Stim and range done. He's hard walling off with Evo chambers here. But, well, gonna go right through it. The SCV's busting in. Not sure this helps more. The Marines targeting down the queens. Brenda, no! Why are they still so good? I don't know, stupid. Yeah, but the Marines getting gunned down. Well, not the Marines, sorry. The queens slaughtered, regicide. And wow, that isn't even remotely close. Well, Rogue still has... And now some medics are caught out, but... Rogue still has 40 drones. But the Marine ball is intact. If he can join up with the medics, well then... That might be worthy of at least 2 Gs. The Marines just targeting down the roaches. Wow, they have so much damage against them. More drones dead, but the medics are here. And having any amount of medics is going to really make it difficult to dislodge this Terran ball. And Rogue stutter-stepped into oblivion. The Marines hitting the stims, the medics enabling them, and that means we get to go to game number 3. Rogue gotta head back to the spawning pool. The Marines, just too strong. Double Academy. I could feel my mind expanding. Though, quite an investment to get all that early. Really no point unless you're doing something like it. But, alright. Game 3. The big reveal. We're going to Retro. Another really cool map designed specifically for SC Evo. Interesting. The picks. Rogue. StarCraft 2 Zerg. Han Mono picks StarCraft 1 Terran. Will he do it again? He's in cross position. Oh my god. Well, I guess... Okay. Well, he's gonna do... Is there a cow watching over these rich... That's a pig. Is it a cow or a pig? It's definitely a cow. Anyways, a proxy Rex in the middle of the map. A absolute classic tactic. One of the oldest builds in the history of StarCraft. Especially considering 4-player maps are rare nowadays. Slaps down a third. Got those gold minerals, some extra bling to make those SCVs more motivated. And Rogue, he's going hatch first. I just love the look, especially the creep on this map. I don't know how they changed the creep to look so different while still being so clearly creep, but I like it. Billy's. Ah, yes, and a karaoke bar. I think appropriate. As well as, of course, BJ's Clam Shack. And it's a bunker rush. Here we go. I mean, I don't know what we expected. The drone... Okay, well, no longer a bunker rush. Gonna try it again. I don't think you stop there. The Marine count is growing. The pool isn't even done. The drones are pulled. Gonna try to take down the Marines outright, but Rogue is taking this very seriously right now. Looking to chase it down. More Marines coming around the corner. A bit of an awkward move, but the drones! Sir, get off my lawn! Rogue has had enough of these Marines at his base. He chases them across the entire... all the way past the 3rd base. Wow. Well, now more SCVs on the way. He's just throwing more SCVs across the map. It's kind of a now or never situation. The queens are out. The bunker's just not gonna happen. Kind of crazy how the creep looks on all of this, but the Zerglings kind of caught out, but the drones are pulled off the line. The queen adding some damage. And, well, the Marines are absolutely slaughtered. More SCVs! But revenge! Alright, this is for the war! Well, those SCVs have 60 HP, so they are quite tanky, but Rogue, in quite a concise fashion, is able to take it back in the 3rd game and take the series 2-1. Which brings us to our bonus game, which is Classic versus Steph Curry. Yes, there is a high-level StarCraft player. I don't know StarCraft 1 or 2. Named Steph Curry in Korea. And it's Protoss versus Protoss, but 1 versus 2, which I'm quite excited to see. But with Classic playing StarCraft 1 Protoss. So, the only mirror matchup I'll accept in my life. And hopefully you stick around. Hopefully you enjoyed that match. Once again, if you haven't yet, at least throw Kiwian a sub over on the YouTubes. And if you want to check out some matches, either without my commentary or before I get a hold of them, he'll probably have them up there. And if you have any interest, you can check out the SC Evo Discord as well as support the creators. As this is all free at the moment. So, well, I mean, in perpetuity, but... Oh my, beautiful. The Brood War pylons, which have so much HP, by the way. SC2 pylons are 200-200. Brood War pylons, 300-300. That is a well-fortified looking pylon right there. Oh, wow, the disrespect. Steph Curry picks the hero portrait against Classic. Yes, he could have picked the Classic portrait, but here we are. I don't know if the probes have any sort of advantage. They both have 20/20. The Brood War version has like a little more range, kind of. I'm not exactly sure how that works, but they do have some range. And a spider battery is on the way. Oh my god, there's a new Dragoon look. How sick is that? They got their own, they got like a open cap. I assume that's where the fancy great balls of energy come out. But singularity charge, range on the way, goon range. The Stalkers, the sad, unloved version of the Dragoon. They even hide their faces. Because nobody likes them. They do have blink, but that's a cowardly move compared to blasting. Even better. I'm completely unbiased, though. There's a pylon in his base. So no warp gate for Brood War. Oh, yeah. Well, Steph. What are you up to? I don't... Okay. Just a scouting pile. Oh, that looks so sick. Alright. It does diverge them from the StarCraft campaign look. Or StarCraft 2 campaign look of the Dragoons as well. Very cool. God, that spider battery. The shield batteries in Brood War. Manually controlled. I think more powerful. They're more like an overcharge battery when they're being used, but... of course, they run out of energy pretty quick. I don't think they can reshield buildings, but I'm not 100%. So now Stalkers with Blink on the way, but the Dragoons already have Singularity Charge. So that means they can poke and prod, and I believe outrange the Stalkers, as well as they have more HP. It's 80-80 versus... Wait, do they have more? Yes, 100 HP and 80 shields. So the Dragoons have more HP, I think similar damage and movement speed, but they don't get Blink, very importantly. Shuttle on the way. And already a robotic support bay completed, as well as an observatory. Observer on the way, a robo for Steph. And I'm honestly very interested. Honestly, I think these are the most interesting matchups. I know Terran versus Zerg is flashier, but Classic taking it out. The Dragoons slamming the point home. Reaver is on the way, and Gravitic Drive for shuttle speed. Blink into the main, but wow, bit of a misblink there. Didn't even get everybody up. And the Dragoons are here. Spends all that time take out a pylon. The Dragoons. So technically you could blink into the main, but the range is it makes it a dicey endeavor. A Reaver inside of the shuttle. Speed not quite done yet. The shuttle is spotted by the observer. Dragoons scampering across. The Stalkers prancing away. Oh my. I think he noticed him. Yeah, the observer spotted it, but he's going for the shuttle. Reaver, point blank range, fires off a scarab. Gets a second one, and that's a lot of damage. Takes out the observer. Loses the shuttle, loses the Reaver, but he takes out a bunch of Stalkers. Damages more. There's disruptors on the way, which there's no easy way to dodge those Ruptors without Blink. That certainly could be a difficult proposition, but Classic maintaining a better worker count. He has the army, trying to fight the Stalkers heads up. Blinking back, dodging some of the projectiles. Disruptor shot. Wow, it did a little time warp there in my brain. As the Disruptor landed and the Dragoons decided to die. Wow, that blue blood, by the way. The death animation is amazing. Oh my God. Custom models are so sick. Another Reaver in production. Second shuttle. Zealot legs. Their speed upgrade. No charge. And Reaver, I want to say that's the damage upgrade. For the scarabs that they plonk out. Goons and Stalkers trading fire. Ruptor count's grown 6 more gates for Classic, who does seem to have quite a grasp on the Brood War. In the big show match they had, the GSL versus ASL show match, Classic, one of the most successful, possibly the most successful player of the entire match, both for Brood War and SC2. Showing quite a grasp of both versions of it, so not surprising to see him looking quite comfortable with the Brood War Protoss here, even against his fellow StarCraft 2 Protoss. Now Steph Curry with... He's down 30 supply. Those Disruptors are quite a danger, but with enough Zealots, you can mitigate it by potentially drawing fire into their own army. The Disruptors are almost guaranteed to get some damage, but will he be able to take out a critical mass of the Dragoons? Not with Classic so obviously prepared for it. Steph Curry adds on another base in the corner. I think he didn't want to risk the center base while Classic still had such obvious map control. But here we go. Both sides are built up again. Disruptor shot. Oh, but the Reavers! In the trees! The Reavers targeting the Raptors! Another Raptor shot. That one taken out at the last moment. The Reavers come in from the side and knock out the Raptors before they can get critical damage done. And now Classic has a 40 supply lead. More Disruptors on the way. The Scarab, the capacity increase in production. 10 Zealots at a time for Classic. Steph Curry, more Disruptors. At some point, you're not going to be able to take them all out. But the Reaver, I believe, flew by a probe. The Stalkers are there. There's not a lot of space to drop the Reavers out. Observer spotted. He'll know that. Oh, the Stalkers definitely spotted it. The shuttle's able to get away. Disruptors around the bend. Zealots mostly dodge. Reavers crawling their way across as well. Chewing up the field. Templar in production. Hi, Templar. And Disruptor shot looks for something. Somehow manages to get only one Zealot. Another shot clips 3 Dragoons. Another fadeaway shot. Not able to find anything, but wait, there's more. Gets just one. And Classic may have carved out enough control here in order to take out this Nexus. Looks like Steph Curry is going to go straight into a base trade. 7 probes dead to the Reaver. But the counterattack, Reaver only had 1 Scarab. In fact, he didn't build anymore. I don't know if he doesn't have it on autocast or something. I don't know if it's manually controlled now, but the Reavers are caught out. Get a couple shots off. But the charge lock counterattack is looking good. And now Steph from downtown. Big hit on the Zealots. Oh, drains it. And now the charge slots. There's no warping. He has to just rely on units being rallied out. Are these units stuck, or is the rally point bad? There's no way they're stuck there. They're just worshipping that pylon. The Zealots hold position to block the ramp. Classic has to come all the way back. He still has a supply lead, and he's working. Is that the mind control upgrade? Something for the Darkons here. Oh yeah, mind control. That's one way to do it. If you can't beat them, hire them. Or convince them to work for you at the very least. I don't know, Scarabs taking their sweet time recharging. I guess we can't see them recharging the Scarabs. It just happens over time. I'm watching for it. You may need to manually do it. I'm not sure if that was changed. But the Zealots, the Zealot on Zealot action. The Brood War Zealots have more shields. But they don't have that charge upgrade. And they can't be warped in, so... Classic maintains a much higher supply, despite Steph Curry getting so much done. Classic microing his macro is making all the difference right now. Steph just taking a new base. Able to get the income back up to more comparable levels. The Archons! Wow. Those aren't Darkons, right? No, you can tell the difference. They're way different. We already saw a Darkon back there. But the High Templar Archons, as in the Brood War, the Templar did not get along well enough to allow Inter-Templar merging, which didn't work out so great for them in the long run, but here we are. Classic heading up. Still only 2 Scarabs in each of those Reavers. The Disruptors have recharged. A Reaver and turned slightly to the side, outmaneuvering the Disruptor shot. The Zealots overrunning. And Disruptors! Steph Curry from downtown lands the shots and finds so much of Classic's army. It's obliterated by the Purification Novas, but the Scarabs in turn. 12 Zealots at a time for Classic. Quite an investment. And now, well... Another Disruptor volley. The Archons obliterating. The Reavers targeted. He isn't rebuilding Scarabs. I really want to know whether it's autocast or if he's just Like he turned it off or something. But chasing down the shuttle, there's nothing in there, but he didn't know that for sure. And Steph Curry takes the supply lead. Now, another Reaver. This one definitely building up the Scarabs. Classic in a precarious position. He's got so much money in the bank, but he just can't spend it. He's building Goons and Zealots. He's got 14 gates, a full volley, a 3-point shot of Disruptors, but doesn't come up with anything. Blinks out. Can you blink out of Scarabs? I think so. What a crazy move. The Reaper's waddling away. Only one of them makes it. The most dangerous slug in the Protoss army. Fleet Beacon in production. Another Ruptor. That's Steph Curry still finding shots. The shuttle doesn't have that pickup range of the Warp Prism, unfortunately. That's making things very difficult, but Classic has rebuilt. +3 versus +2 weapons. And now, fires off a shot. The Reaver is saved at the last moment. He needs that one so badly. Picks up the Reaver, dodges the Ruptors. Zealots overwhelming. More Zealots. A very well-placed cannon. Archons being overwhelmed. Disruptors are most of what's left. Zealots on both sides obliterated. Another hit. The Dragoons just getting chunked up by the Purification Novas. But Classic is getting damage done to the economy simultaneously. And the tie goes to the leader. 2 carriers in production. Classic able to stabilize much more quickly. Not taking any real economic damage. Steph Curry still has 83 probes though. And he didn't lose a Nexus. So that means Classic still has a lot of work to do here. But the carriers are in production. Where are the Stargates? Ah, he's built up in the top right corner. In fact, Classic has like 6 bases now. Yes, 6 bases. Almost his entire half the map. Disruptor shots. Even the Dragoon manages to sidestep. The Ruptors are just so difficult to deal with. Another shot. Almost brings it home, but the Reavers continuing the shuttles. The fade away. But the Stalkers try to snipe off the Reavers, but getting some Scarabs to the face. Disruptor evaporates half a dozen Zealots. Another Reaver's taken out. Whips out a Scarab. More Disruptor shots. A full broadside. But Classic has so much production in those carriers. The carriers have arrived. Though he doesn't have the interceptor capacity thingy. Oh no, the Disruptors! But is there any anti-air left? It's just these Archons. What an awkward situation. Wait, more Stalkers coming in. They target the shuttle. Disruptor shots! And now Classic, despite his supply, while more Zealots are coming in, the Disruptor's forced to fire at point-blank range. They can't really find an easy target here. Classic still has so many minerals in the bank. Steph Curry's still looking pretty good himself, but the constant waves of Zealots and Dragoons are slowly but surely dealing with the Disruptors, but the Disruptors ready to deal it back out in turn. The Zealots chasing. And the StarCraft 2 Protoss just more brittle. These Disruptors are clearly powerful, but Classic's endless waves of Zealots. Zealots running in. 40 supply gap. Steph Curry's done a great job, but Classic's taking the bottom right corner now. He's almost to the bingo strat. The carriers. 14 probes dead. The carriers forcing the attention to be dragged away. The Disruptor trying not to kill his own Zealots. But the Zealots with legs are able to dodge the shots quite efficiently. I don't know why there were 4 probes over here. More of them will die. And it feels like we turned a corner here. Where Classic, untouched economically, has finally been able to break the momentum of Stephen Curry. And with it, may be able to take it home. The supply, though. The gateway count. It's 19 gateways to 10. It's not an exact equivalent, but it's close enough. Classic has 93 probes, which means his max army supply isn't particularly high, but it may be high enough. The carriers are forcing the addition of a lot of anti-air. You might not want to build otherwise. The Zealots, 9 more probes. And here we go. Wow, that's so many Zealots. Disruptor shots. Just so danger close. Fires the disruptors through, blinks over the top. Able to snipe off the carriers. But the disruptor! Oh no! Et2 Ruptor! He shoots his own stalkers. GGWP, and Classic takes it. But what a game. Oh, we should have led with that one. But quite an exchange. A beautiful match. Let's see. 174 Brood War Zealots, 86 StarCraft 2-1s, 42 to 45 Goons and Stalkers, 17 Reavers to 21 Ruptors. What a game. Well, hopefully you enjoyed. Make sure to check out Kiwian and let me know by smashing that like button and subscribing. Part of the reason we stopped showing the games was, well, it was interesting. We didn't see those high-level matches. But now that we got a tournament, I think there might be a little more interest in showing some more SC Evo. Make sure to check out that Discord if you want to play some matches as well. You can find people there. And otherwise, thank you for watching. If you've got the means of motivation, be awesome to check out Patreon, YouTube membership. But I hear liking and subscribing, still free for now. I'll see you next time. Good luck. Have fun. Stay chill.